Welcome to today's episode. Today we're gonna sit here with Charles. We're gonna show one pretty scary vulnerability with WordPress. So Charles, what we're gonna do today?
Yesterday a vulnerability came out for a plugin on WordPress, which is a discussion plugin that allows you to do comments, and it's called WordPress and today we're going to show how you can use this vulnerability to get access to a remote web server. And just to emphasize, this came out 24 hours ago, so it's very, very new. And I'll just show you how quickly people can take a vulnerability and cause serious damage.
Yeah, and this will showcase the importance of keeping stuff up to date, and it also shows what can happen if you don't. So this is perfect. So let's dig in and see what you will do.
Okay, cool. So basically, this plugin, which we'll show later, it's a discussion plugin. It allows you to make comments, but you can also upload files. And the problem with the plugin is it doesn't look at the file you're uploading contains any malicious, well, I say malicious, any PHP code. So I can insert PHP code into any image file and upload it to a WordPress site, and then I can get the WordPress site to execute anything on my behalf. So I'm going to show you a tool called Excerpt tool, which is just basically displays you the metadata of an image. So I've got a picture of a cute kitten, which I'll quickly show you. Let me just change my windows. There you go. There we go. A little cute kitten over there.
Yeah.
And now we're going to use the image to embed some PHP code, so that when I upload it to the server, it will allow me the ability to run anything on the server. So what this does is just saying, update the comment field metadata on the image and just add that. So you can see at the minute it says cute kitten, but as soon as I run this and I check it again, you can see it's now added some dodgy code in there.
Yes.
I've just got to quickly update something because it doesn't do it completely properly.
And right now is actually reading the data of the image.
Yeah, so you can see all this gobbledygook. That's the image file, and then on top there is just the comments. Okay, so if you go back, look at the kitten image now, you can see it looks a bit dodgy.
Yeah, if you played Pokemon, this is like the missing go. It was a broken Pokemon that you could find in one place.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I now go back to, I'll go to the WordPress site and I'll show you. Okay, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what the comments plugin looks like, or discuss plugin. It just, if you put any post on your WordPress site, you can allow anyone externally to post a comment. So this is a great site, thank you. And there on the right, there's a button to upload an image.
Yeah.
So what I've done, which I haven't shown, is I've changed the extension of that file to PHP. So
instead of kitten.jpg, it's kitten.php, but it's the same file, just changed the ending of it.
Yeah. Now sometimes you can even leave it as JPEG, it still works, but in this instance it doesn't. So I've uploaded the file. So you can see it doesn't complain, it's happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually display the image, but that's fine. So now if I copy that link and I paste it in, now I need to just quickly find, hold on.
So what you're doing now is you're editing the URL. Yes.
So that's the image that it's been uploaded as a PHP file. So you can see it gives you a bit of a funny number.
Yeah.
But we got that earlier. So now anything I run is actually running on the server. So if I do a ls-la, which is just display all the contents of the directory, you can see I get everything in the directory there.
You get permissions who can do what for each file and all the files that are in this folder.
Exactly,
on the server.
So now I can basically force the server, the web server, to connect to me. and which is the next thing I'll show you. So the first thing I've got to do is, on my attacking machine, I have got to, where's it gone? No, it's disappeared. There you go, change it back. So, so now my attacking server, I'm basically just saying, open a special program and listen on port 4444. So anything that connects back to me on that port, I will now have access to.
Yeah.
And if I go back to...
So this is on your host machine. If anyone access you on port 444, you will have access to that machine.
Yes.
4444. It's 4 4s.
444, yeah.
And the port doesn't matter. It's just the one you chose.
Yeah. Now there's loads of different ways of doing this. I had to actually upload this program called NC, but because you have access to the server, you can do anything you like. So I've now uploaded, it's called Netcat, and I've now uploaded it, and now I'm executing Netcat. And basically just what this says is connect back to me on that IP address. And when you connect back to me, please execute this on your computer, which gives me a shell on your server. So you can see I've now executed it. The server's not thinking about it, but it's just gonna keep on loading because it now means it's connecting back to my server. So if I go back to the attacking machine, which is over there, you can see there's a connection from that.
Yeah. And
that's me, I'm in.
Yeah, that is this is the server he's in right now. So now he can do whatever he wants.
So I can display there's your WordPress config file. You can have a look. See that. There's your database name, there's your usernames, your passwords. I can dump your database, get all your passwords. So we'll take it a little bit further, because the way you interact with the server now, it's not very good. But I can upload another file now, which is just a bit of a more convenient way for me to browse your server. And so after I've done that, if I go back to the attacking machine, sorry, back to the vulnerable WordPress server, I've uploaded something called shell.php.
Yeah.
So if I go back in there, I just do that. Oh, no, sorry, hold on. There you go. Just a bit of a better way to access the server. So
now in the web browser, you can do whatever you want on the web server of this WordPress website.
So as an example, what I'm doing now, I can completely shut down your website and put my own information there. So if I do that and I get this link over here. So let's pretend I've downloaded an image. Yeah. And now I'm updating the web server to, instead of displaying your website, to displaying what I want. So if I go back to the web server now.
So this is the website, and now you have removed it, and everything you can see is game over.
Yeah. So I mean, what you could do as being very malicious, if it's a very good WordPress site that gets a lot of visitors, you probably wouldn't do this, but you would load something behind the scenes that's hidden, that whenever someone visits the website, it can force those users to do some execute commands on their behalf, and that becomes really dangerous because
get their passwords and
even worse, if they find a vulnerability on their banking website, they can force that user to click a link that then executes something on their banking site, and because that user is going to the bank as him, you can force that user to transfer money. You know, it gets really bad. What they will usually do is use these WordPress sites as command and control centers. So when they hack bigger companies like Google or Twitter, instead of connecting back to their own machines, they would use these vulnerable websites as a control center. So like when I showed my machine was listening for the incoming connection. In real life, you wouldn't use your machine because it's traceable back to you. You would use one of these vulnerable WordPress sites.
Yeah, so you use you can use as many as you want, and if they start looking, they will find the wrong one. So if this is my WordPress server and my WordPress website, it will look like I'm the one that performing this attack.
Yes, like I'm not like I'm knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of this is from one vulnerability in one plugin on a WordPress site.
Yeah. And if we go, just to show you how you can find these websites as well, me and Anders did some looking. You can use something on Google to search for websites running this plugin.
Yeah.
So you can see we found loads of websites running that plugin. And if you go to the plugin, it's sorry, go on.
From right now, you found a few hundred from this one search on Google just to find these plugins. But if we go here, you will see that there is over 80,000 installations of this.
Yeah.
And unless you have updated it recently, you still have this vulnerability on your website.
Yeah, most likely, because it was only made known yesterday. Yeah, so and this happens all the time on WordPress, all the time on WordPress, and it's sometimes it's harder, and sometimes it's as easy as this. This wasn't very.
Yeah, for someone that knows what they're doing, this wasn't hard. I mean, you just showcased all the steps, and it was just a few minutes.
Yeah.
How can someone prevent this from happening?
Well, on WordPress, there's a couple of things you can do. Is there's a good plugin called Wordfence, which you should install. Again, Wordfence doesn't protect you against this, but sometimes it does. Updating your plugins automatically is one thing, but as me and Anders, we spoke earlier, didn't we? It's like sometimes that causes problems as well.
Yeah. It can cause your website to crash if one of these plugins has some issue.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, don't use WordPress.
WordPress is really convenient and it's great, but you need to keep everything up to date. And
that's the thing. You need to be.
You need to use plugins that you can trust. That is, they need to be up to date.
Yeah. Or I mean, I'm going to plug my own system now. It's not developed yet, by the way, but we are creating a system for this kind of stuff so that we will monitor your infrastructure. But obviously, we know about this vulnerability because whenever a vulnerability gets released, it gets a number. It's called a CVE number.
Yeah.
So we monitor all these CVE numbers, and we find stuff. And so this portal we are creating will allow you to input your infrastructure. So I'm running WordPress, or I'm running this, I'm running that. And we will monitor stuff on your behalf. And when we find something that you're running, we will flag it to you immediately so that you can update it.
That is good. How will I be notified? Will I get the message or in the
we haven't quite worked out, but it could be anything. You know, it could be, we're probably going to incorporate Slack, Telegram, and obviously when you log into the portal, you'll have a message as well.
Yeah. That will be an awesome service for sure.
Yeah. But it is hard. I mean, it's like, it's cat and mouse, isn't it? You just.
Yeah, but it's good for people to know, because setting up a WordPress website is easy. Understanding these issues is important whenever you do this. If you run a website, you need to understand that this can happen.
Yeah, definitely. And then, don't. Sorry, go on.
You can't prevent it, but you can at least make it more difficult.
Exactly, yeah. And don't just install 20 plugins. You know, be only install plugins you really think you need. And if you install a plugin and you think, it's not really being used, rather remove it.
Yeah.
Shall I stop sharing my screen now?
Yeah, you can. I think this is enough for this video today. We have showcased an issue and how bad things can get if you don't stick up to date, and this is just one of the plugins that exist, one of the issues.
Yeah, and what's happening right now is we can't prove it, but I guarantee you that the underground criminal organizations that use malware, they've plugged this new vulnerability in, and they are actively searching. And if they find you, they would be in, but they're hidden. They're not, they're just using you. You won't know they're in.
It sounds very convincing. If I have this plugin, I haven't updated it already. Someone may have access to my device. Can I find out that they have that in some way?
Yeah, you definitely can, but you'd have to do some searching. It depends how they embed themselves. Probably you'd find a file in your somewhere in your WordPress folders. That's a new file that you don't know about, or it could be anywhere on your system. It's kind of hard, but to gain access, they would have to, because they would probably think you can update the plugin. So what they would do is upload a specific shell, like I've just done, which will sit somewhere around those folders. So if you're paranoid, what I would do is, it's hard. You almost want to restore to a backup. Keep your database, but restore your entire WordPress installation to a previous version, to a previous backup, keeping your database. So you keep all your information, but all your files will change back, and then go and update your WordPress, your plugin again.
That's good. At least it's one step, and it doesn't. They could have done it in some other way, but at least it's a good step now. Now people can know you can do at least this one thing. And depending on your hosting, usually have automated backups, so you can just pick from a list when you want to go back, and then you can just go back before this was announced, and then start it and then update it. And that's a good idea.
I think certain hosting companies as well. I can't remember. I saw one the other day where instead of running your own WordPress installation, if you run it on theirs, even if you run dodgy plugins, they have additional protection to protect you, which is also, I think, if you're going to run WordPress, it could be a good idea to use their services. Because they allow automated updates of plugins, but they have some additional background things running so that it doesn't actually break your website.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect.
Yeah, cool.
So this is very fun to hear about, but it's very scary, and it should be scary, and you need to understand that this can happen. So thanks for your time today again, Charles, and I hope we can reach people before anything bad happens.
Hopefully, yeah. Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.